Test driver Klaus Nietzwitz tells us most people think sportiness, performance, and driving fun when they think Golf GTI, and that the car's a good buy at €28,350. Now the latest Golf GTD is available, he adds, but it's now selling for €1,000 more, or €29,350. Volkswagen gave its gasoline-powered GTI just a few weeks head start before sending the sporty diesel model onto showroom floors. You'd never see any difference by looking at their interiors. But the color schemes are varied. The GTD had a subdued gray rather than red plaid. But what makes the Golf GTD really distinctive? Volkswagen's Michael Kanitsky says that in addition to the gasoline-powered Golf GTI, customers will be pleased with the driving pleasure and sportiness the diesel model offers. He says it's sensible, economical, but still fun for drivers who commute from A to B Monday through Friday and want to be a bit more sporty, but have more economical zip on the weekends. With a completely newly built 2-liter common rail turbo diesel that delivers more than 135 kilowatts of power and a maximum 380 newton meters of torque, the car is high performance while remaining environmentally friendly. Alterations within the engine and exhaust after treatment are the Golf's key to success. VW's Richard Doornkamp tells us about VW's two-pronged strategy. They've made changes inside the engine to reduce friction and improve temperature management. The engine gets warm more quickly after a cold start. A new exhaust after-treatment feature reduces nitrogen oxide emissions with 2 new systems, a catalytic converter that lowers NOx by storing it, and a selective catalytic reaction or SCR system, which releases controlled amounts of urea into the exhaust. On the street, driving pleasure, or Fahrvergnügen, is what it's all about. The GTD is hot on the GTI's heels with a top speed of 230 kilometers per hour, making the sprint from 0 to 100 in 7.5 seconds. What's more, VW has equipped the GTD with something really special, a new sound. When the GTD revs up in sport mode, a gritty growl can be heard inside. But on the sidewalk, it's just a purr. He says Volkswagen's 2-liter TDI is the creme de la creme. It's only got about 184 horsepower, but delivers 380 newton meters of torque. That means the car has plenty of power coming from deep down. It makes the car sporty and economical, using only 4.2 liters per 100 kilometers. Unless you continually drive with an open throttle, then you should add as much as 2 liters to that. Like the GTI, the GTD's chassis is 1.5 centimeters closer to the road. The apron with honeycomb air inlets is meant to accentuate the car's width. All LED taillights and a dual exhaust are the final modern touches. Now we're looking for other things that set the GTD apart from its sister. Does it drive differently, speeding down a country road? We've asked our racing veteran test driver to lay on the spurs. In terms of handling and driving behavior, says our test driver, there really isn't much difference. But then both cars have an identical chassis with precise, progressive steering that allows exact cornering. The brakes are powerful, and the new XDS Plus system helps the driver to avoid understeering and improves traction to make the car considerably safer. Test driver Klaus Nietzwitz sums up, saying that the Golf GTI and Golf GTD are as good as twins with different engines. He adds that the diesel is more for people who drive long distances and want to do it more economically without sacrificing sporty style. If you want the car with a DSG transmission, then be ready to pay $31,250 for it, which isn't exactly a bargain, but gives you a genuine sporty Golf for the money. Two of the meanest beasts of the 1980s and 90s, the Raging Bull and the Prancing Horse. Ferruccio Lamborghini versus Enzo Ferrari. The 1988 Countach anniversary versus the 1991 Ferrari 512 Testarossa. The owners Werner Wandl and René Jaeger chose their wheels very deliberately. A sizable spoiler, a recognizable design, edges where others had none, and the unmistakable gull-wing doors. The Lamborghini's aggressive design is meant to draw attention. And it's meant for aggressive driving. 455 horsepower take Lamborghini's most powerful model from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.9 seconds with a top speed of almost 300. The body styling is a question of individual taste. The owner Werner Wandl says Gruppo Bertoni's designs have always been very different and have always polarized car connoisseurs. People either love it or hate it. The Countach was uncompromising, a typical Lamborghini. What does a Lamborghini owner have to say about a Ferrari Testarossa? The Testarossa is an absolutely beautiful car, but it's more suitable for the masses. The Countach is more polarizing. And what does Ferrari fan René Jaeger have to say about the Countach? He says the Countach is a very nice model, even if he doesn't think the form is as harmonious as the Ferraris. That's why he prefers the Ferrari, specifically the 512 Testarossa. He has no doubt the specifications are just as good, if not a little better, in one point or another. In terms of the design and his overall impression, he says the Testarossa thoroughly appeals to him. 428 horsepower carry the 512 TR from 0 to 100 in 4.8 seconds, with a top speed of 314. René Jaeger points out that on this version the body sits separate from the chassis, which makes for much greater stability in unpredictable road conditions. It's noticeably more stable and easier to handle, especially in uneven curves. A 512 TR in good condition can be had for about 60,000 euros nowadays, but the maintenance cost shouldn't be underestimated. René Jaeger says one thing that might present a challenge is having to change the drive belt every 3 or 4 years. That's also another expense. Other than that, it doesn't need a lot of maintenance. He says that's an advantage of this particular Ferrari model. Other Ferraris are far more maintenance intensive. The Countach designed by Bertoni can command nearly twice as much, or around 120,000 euros. The owner might even be persuaded to let go of this one. So which car wins the showdown, the Lamborghini or the Ferrari? It depends on who you ask. A Cavallino Rampante fan is hardly likely to go for the Lamborghini, and the other way around. Citroën is introducing its second-generation C4 Picasso. The new compact MPV is up to 140 kilos lighter than its predecessor. Buyers have 2 gasoline and 3 diesel engines to choose from. For the first time, the C4 Picasso is available with a new blue HDI engine, which meets the Euro 6 emissions norm. Prices for the gas-powered base model start at just under 20,000 euros in Germany. Audi currently offers 3 variants of its small A3 family car, but starting in August, the automaker from Ingolstadt will be putting an A3 sedan onto the streets. The vehicle is being assembled at Audi's plant in Hungary. The interior will boast many new features, and the exterior will have a slightly different look. The new A3 sedan is expected to sell for upwards of 24,000 euros in Germany. Potholes are every driver's nightmare. Those who want to ignore them need the right vehicle. We've got one that's tough, yet elegant. Our test driver tells us the days when off-roaders were only meant for going off-road are long over. Matas Kurat says that when people used to call cars boats, what they meant were big American cars from the 50s and 60s. They were long, wide, and had loads of room inside. Today's equivalent is the SUV, says Matas. They're very tall, really wide, and very roomy, he says, like the Mercedes GL.
Enorm viel Platz im Innenraum, wie zum Beispiel der Mercedes GL.
The Mercedes GL may be a German make, but it's built in the US and very popular there. That's no wonder with the length of 5 meters and a turning radius of about 13 meters. It's available in Germany, too. If you're environmentally aware, however, the GL 500 might not be right for you. Equipped with a 320 kilowatt, 435 horsepower V8 engine, it puffs out 269 grams of carbon dioxide and gulps down 11.5 liters of gasoline to travel 100 clicks. An electronic speed limiter restricts its top speed at 250 kilometers an hour. The exterior of the GL 500 is sporty, but still elegant. The entire car has gently defined lines and curves that even at this size still appear graceful. LED taillights are part of the whole picture, as are the chrome exhaust and rear spoiler. Chrome strips accent details. All in all, the GL paints a consistent picture and is certainly an eye-catcher. At 1.85 meters tall and 1.93 meters wide, it's pretty hard to miss. Matas says SUV standards like a differential locking mechanism and off-road gear reduction are missing on the GL. But he quickly adds that hardly anyone goes off-road anymore, and conditions on many roads in Germany are so bad that a car that can take the bumps isn't out of place if you're looking for a smooth ride. Despite its weight of almost 3.3 tons, the GL handles as if it were light as a feather. But the 7-speed Tronic Plus automatic transmission needs a few seconds to react, so drivers should exercise caution before stepping on the gas. A manual transmission might have been a better solution, but it's not to be had. The inside of the Mercedes GL really stands out. It's stylish, top flight, and features the best materials available. And if you fold down the rear seats, the cargo space increases from 680 liters to a whopping 2,300 liters. Our test driver says, to sum up, the GL is a really beautiful car. And even if you're not driving off-road, driving on poorly maintained roads is a cinch, and you won't even notice the bumps. The GL500 we tested has a starting price of 95,438 euros. And when you start adding on the extras, you'll quickly end up facing costs of over 100,000. Each year, the Alps around Kitzbühel host a very special event. And these are the star attractions. 194 classic and vintage cars, open-top race cars, elegant coupes, roadsters and sedans, dating from the pre-war period to the modern era. The final preparations are being made. Then the starting pistol is fired, and the 26th Kitzbühel Alpine Rally is underway. Around 400 kilometers lie ahead of these drivers. The rally is conducted over the course of 3 days. Herbie, the famous love bug, is also taking part. The convoy travels through picturesque landscapes, making Kitzbühel a car lover's dream. Any vehicle that boasts 4 wheels and a unique history is welcome to join the colorful parade. Whether small, like this Isetta from 1956, or really big, like this state car from 1963. This man says his wife was reading a newspaper and said, "I don't believe it. Look, isn't that a Chaika?" So he looked and told her it was an old parade car, a Chaika convertible. He said he must have it. So he called up the auction house, bid over the phone, and got the car. He tells us that it's a government car that was only used for parades. Now it's 50 years old and has just 50,000 kilometers on it, which is nothing for a vehicle like this. And Remy says he and his general decided to dress in the Soviet Army uniforms of that era. It's good that the general has an extra handlebar to hold on to. Rally drivers must also pass various tests along the route. Some are about driving skills, others involve timed test sections. Is it nerve-wracking? A little, she admits, but now they're used to it. Did they leave the men eating their dust? That's our main goal, Kirsten says. Men radically underestimate us, but we show them. The participants include real professionals like German touring car driver Mike Rockenfeller. He puts his 1984 Audi Sport Quattro through its paces during the tricky test sections. Rockenfeller says the weather's great and they enjoyed the drive. He hopes they've done fairly well on the tests. Rally drivers need a good co-pilot who ensures they stay on the right route and keeps an eye on the competition. He says she's vital and that he'd be lost without her. She agrees. He says they've had 3 arguments, the fewest they've ever had here, so things are going well. But even the best of relationships doesn't help if your vehicle refuses to play along. Like this 1956 Porsche Speedster. Its driver says the speedometer cable broke yesterday, so they drove all day without knowing their speed or mileage. And he says this morning the battery cable fell off. He says it took them an hour to get the car going, which is why they're a bit late. But he says they enjoyed the weather and the lack of stress because their times are all messed up anyway. But one car just keeps going and going. Herbie, with actor Helmut Zierl behind the wheel. Helmut says the feeling of being part of a group is unique. People say that the Kitzbühel Classic is one of the nicest rallies around because you travel through such beautiful landscapes. But he says, as a driver, you're concentrating on the key points and what's demanded of you, so you don't even notice the landscape. He's only thinking about where he has to go and when. Turn left or keep going straight. Is his co-pilot sure? The actor says you really have to concentrate to arrive at the finish safe and on time, and that's what it's all about. On the rally's third and final day, the cars crossed the finish line in Kitzbühel's historic old town. Spectators line the streets and marvel at the classic cars. Here, our Hollywood star, Herbie, is in his element, while the Russian parade car and its general do what they do best.